How's it going? I'm talking to a bunch of sadist naturalists, and they're just, jerking off to nature as usual. Damn, there's a lot of interviews just for, yeah. People, man. Howdy, howdy. I'm pissed off today. Woke up, got random talk to by a scam artist. I'm like, I don't actually waste my time with him for a little bit. It's kind of fun, actually. Not gonna lie. Uh, Still annoying because I'm like, fucking scam artists waste of human breath on this earth. And then a little bit later, got in a conversation with this fucking psychopaths in the misanthropy group that are just like jerking off nature, flicking the little bean. Just like Mother Nature, ducks rape each other to reproduce, and I'm all for that because nature's great. Anything that's natural is good. Might makes right, baby. I really think that like humans can do whatever they want to animals because might makes right, basically. Like if we can do it, we can do it because animals would do it. Basic psychopathy bullshit, and they say I'm weird because I think that they're just a bunch of psychomaniacs who are trying to convince people to endorse their psychopathic views. No, I'm at this point. I'm just curious if he's also believes in Allah because he looks like he's Middle Eastern and he has that black and white photo filter that every single like Middle Eastern quote unquote Sigma chat has. You know the one where they're just sitting there with like a fucking cap backwards, not looking into the camera, flexing a little, and they have like a black and white filter, like some guy named like Muhammad or some shit. It's like the profile name. And it's just like, yeah, like basically general douchebag. Allah gives me right to do whatever I want type of attitude. So I'm curious now. I'm asking him if he believes in God at this point because I'm just like, this guy's so fucking stupid. I have to entertain myself more with this religion nonsense. Like he's endorsing naturalism to the point where he basically thinks that like a rapist can rape a woman or whoever just because they have the ability to do so. And I'm like, okay, cool. If you're at that point, let's see what we can get with your whole religion stances. I'm sure that's just as fucking fun and gold. Who's watching me, by the way? Someone's watching me, but they're just kind of lingering here in the quiet, and I respect that. If you want to linger in the quiet, all the power to you. But at the same time, I appreciate interaction in the chat. There's a link there if you want. You can join and you can talk to me as a game. That we can listen to your lovely voice as I do God's work in Crusaders, spreading the holy via the sword, just as. Hello there, Zafir. Are you an antinatalist or an epholist, by the way, or how did you stumble across this channel? Just randomly, I imagine. I don't think I put any hashtags in my comment section today. It's just call it Monday, and we're just getting right into it. So if you're not an antinatalist, not an epholist, howdy. Feel free to question me on my philosophies. As you can see, veganism, ephilism, nativity, antinatalism, any of the related subjects like promortalism, the idea that death is good for the one who dies, identity nihilism, that there's no continued sense of self, self is an illusion, kind of stuff like that. If you have any big questions, let me know. We can just talk about whatever. I have good advice because I'm kind of antisocial. So when it comes down to it, being a psychopath has a lot of perks in terms of giving advice to people. I don't have a stance, just curious about your views. Well, my stance is pretty much my views, I guess. I'm an ethicist and neg utilitarian. I basically think that we're just measuring pain, and it all is comes down to like a quantitative number. That doesn't matter if like per individual if they're able to handle it or not. I think if you're a logical person, you'll endure any amount of punishment basically to reduce a greater amount of pain. So I'm like a classic utilitarian, but in a negative utilitarian sense, where I just value pain instead of taking pleasure into account, because I don't think pleasure has any ethical weight when considering what you have to do in terms of obligations to other beings. Um, you do not have to take into account pleasure. It just doesn't make sense. Like, oh, like, unless you think you have an obligation to go around giving homeless people hand jobs instead of handing them $10 to like help their hunger or something. I don't think most people would think that they have an obligation to pleasure, at least not for other people. And when it comes to the self, you kind of have to ask yourself, what are these things that are so pleasurable? Like what is so pleasurable about my life? What am I doing right now that's so great? I'm playing a video game and I'm smacking people with a great axe and stuff. That's just distractions. I mean, it's just doing dopamine things like beep boop, you get 100 points, stuff like that. So it's just like everything that's pleasurable is essentially just like fulfilling some type of need that's already been like preset by like evolutionary standards. Like I'm feeling good because I satisfied hunger. I'm feeling good because I satisfied boredom. I'm feeling good because I'm satisfying social needs. I'm all for minimizing pain in the world. I'm worried this conversation will get recorded permanently on this video, so I'd be happy to continue through email. I sent you a message the other day. Oh, you did? Oh, are you the bug dude? If you're the dude who's interested in me crushing bugs, um, I appreciate that, but no, this is going up to my YouTube channel, so yeah, it's gonna be recorded, and I'm not gonna talk any lewd stuff, unfortunately, and not unless we're getting paid, of course. Which then you can consider that in the future. But anyways, for now, no. I mean, I'm just gonna be talking philosophy at the moment, doing my thing. So, but in the future, if you want to engage in conversation somewhere else, maybe for payments, we could consider such things. Hmm. I'm guessing you came to my content from the video of me stepping on Leo, the pill bug. Will you show your feet for a moment? Yo, man, I don't give a fuck. I don't care, man. Sure thing, foot fetish people. Look at these feet, baby. Ew. Up, this is Knight trying to kill me. I get fucked, dude. I'm a better player than you. Oh, maybe I'm not. Yeah, I am. Wow, thank you. No problem, my dude. Just out here doing my thing as an egg-utilitarian. There's no cost to me in terms of my time or social deprivation of any sort. So if it makes you feel better, why the hell not? That's the way I look at it. Why the hell not? It doesn't affect me in any way. It takes literally 2 seconds of my time and it makes you feel good. Uh, slash, it makes you get rid of whatever deprivation of horny is going on. So I prevent some pain and guarantee you show your feet off, you'll get hundreds of followers. Fuck yeah! I mean, if people are really interested in seeing my feet and my sick tattoos and stuff, and I get to talk to them about ephilism and basically desire issues, yeah, sure thing. You are a supreme being. Thanks. Everything I do before ephilism, I do it for the philosophy. My power is at what percent? 19%. After the end of this round, we're gonna grab my charger and charge the battery a little bit. I did leave my comment for privacy, but I'll keep coming back to your channel. Awesome, no problem. That's fair. Yeah, if you're busy, my dude, feel free to come back at any time. It doesn't hurt my ego if people aren't watching or are watching. I'm just doing my thing, big chilling. So, I mean, if you have places to be, stuff to do, come back and watch me anytime. I'm gonna be here. I basically stream almost every day. So, whoop, and I took BL. Oh, look at that! Look at that! I just got a job interview with a company, and I applied for it yesterday. Truly, the economy is so shit that I can just get a job in the span of like a day, basically. I hate being alive. Even the positives come with their own brutal negatives of reality. Me being like, oh, I should be like, hey, look at this job, and I'm like, I already know that everybody else is gonna respond to me too, like, hey, please come to us, and it means nothing if I can get a job. It's just quite literally one of many, many jobs that just need a body to fill. And I'm willing to do it, I guess, if they pay me well enough and work with my desire to not work many hours. Like, please, I don't want to work more than 30 hours a week, guys. Like, 30 hours is enough for me. If I'm getting paid $15 an hour, 30 hours a week is more than enough for me to sustain my cost of living. And I don't have, I don't have children, don't have plan to have children, and I don't plan to buy a house. I plan to live in like a fucking travel trailer or some shit, something nice. It's like mobile. Like houses have like a lifetime of like about like 40, 50 years, depending on like their foundation before they need revenate, Revenations? I forgot what the word is. Revenating. Fucking who gives a shit? Moral of the story is, yeah, they gotta do some updating on a house after a certain period of time, be it like 50 years or something. And why do that when you can spend like literally a tenth amount on getting a nice travel trailer and bing bang boom, you can go anywhere in the whole fucking country and into Canada probably. And all for way, way cheaper. So more liberating, cheaper, easily replaceable, highly replaceable stuff inside the. You don't have to like take apart foundations. So like revenating like an RV is way cheaper and it's way easier to replace it. So it's just like I'm not planning to get any like high paying stuff. If I wanted to, if I got a decent paying job and I actually felt like saying fuck you to myself, I could, work like 40 hours a week and I would easily be able to afford like, you know, whatever I want basically in terms of an RV or travel trailer in terms of living in, even a nice quality one. And I don't even really particularly need a nice quality one because I don't really care about brand new things and shiny things. So I could find myself a nice like $7,000 2015 used travel trailer and just be like, oh, here we go. I'll pay this off over the course of 4 years. Bang, bang, boom. And then I own it for another 4 years, sell it for $4,000, get myself another brand new one that's like a couple of years old for about what like 10, 15,000 by the time the economy's shit in a couple of years. And bing bang boom, repeat the cycle every 10 years or so. And until you inevitably decide that you're no longer productive enough for utility and take your own life. That is the way. That is the way. So I already have everything planned out, guys. It's like playing on like by planned out, I mean like there's no plan. It's just like a loose outline of how my life is gonna go. It's just keep living day to day until I fucking take the L and live cheap, sustainably. Try not to get too much in debt so like my credit stays fine. Stuff like that. I mean, it's just like basic shit. I mean, go to work when like every once in a while enough to pay the bills, and you're fine. You're Gucci. You pay the bills. You take the antidepressants, smoke the weed, and you feel okayish. Okayish, not okay, but you feel okayish, and that's enough. Oh, praise be Allah. 13% power remaining. Okay, okay, okay. God damn, son. Ugh. Howdy do, whoever's watching me. Howdy do. How is it going, my lovely folks? I am big arguing with a bunch of psychopaths in the misanthropy group because they're a bunch of fucking retards. Frankly, I mean, it's not exactly like you'd be surprised that a bunch of misanthropes are stupid. I mean, they're literally antisocial. They're defective in the head from the very beginning, and they're basically just circular jerking out their deficiencies, basically thinking that they're somehow normal. And yeah, it's just kind of like me watching these bunch of psychopaths be like, "Oh, nature couldn't flick being harder," and I'm just sitting here pissed off. So everybody wants to talk to me about something that would remove this anger from my mood. It'd be awesome. But right now, I'm just talking to a bunch of people who think that rape is cool because might makes right. Yeah, if you think that's disgusting, try talking to these people for like the last 2 days. Trying to get someone in this group chat of 100 people to actually stand up for something they believe in instead of just being simps that seek social approval. But, human beings are filth upon this planet. And so we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep being filth, aren't we now? So, yes, I'm not in the greatest mood today, but, I could be in a better mood if people weren't such garbage on this fucking earth. But no, we can't have a great day. We can never have a great day on a subjective level. That would require, like, people to be bleeding out of their eyes and for me to be watching. Wow. Yo, man, have you ever considered that the reason you're a misanthrope and don't like people is because you're literally a part of a religion that takes weapons and blesses them with holy water, like a bunch of fucking desert dwelling apes blessing their spears to like spike a fucking elk and be like, "Oh, the meat will be pure and blessed by Allah." Shut the fuck up. The reason you're a misanthrope is because no one likes you, Chief. No one likes you, and so you're kind of just reflecting upon the world. The reason people don't like you all is because y'all are pieces of garbage for multiple reasons. Egghead here just likes to insult people for no reason. The other dude endorses rape and might mix right, and you are indifferent to the suffering of others and are religiously crazy. So, and a hypocrite because you're just bitching about the suffering of the wild and nature a little bit ago. But now that I'm actually talking about the suffering of nature and insulting your little in group, suddenly it's just like, can't we all just get along and look at these guns? Ha ha ha! Look at my religion. Fuck you. These people are so stupid, man. I can't comprehend how stupid people are. I'm a law student. A law student? What fucking country are you practicing law in? Fucking Syria? Are you practicing law in like Saudi Arabia? Is the law just like protect the natural order of things? Man is stronger than woman. Man can beat up women, therefore the rape right. If you don't, I'm a law student in our land. Rape they told not it exists. There is no rape. Only thing is women being dumb. That's basically what I'm talking to is fucking Mr. Muhammad here. And I fucking actually just want to blow my brains out. I hate talking to people. Honestly, I hope like I really, you know how I said like I hope World War III doesn't happen so that humans can do their effortless duty and wipe out animals. Honestly, at the point where it's just like, no, you know what, like fuck it, just someone go like Kim Jong Un, please just glass the fucking Earth already. Like Christ, humanity needs to go. The internet was a mistake. People need to go back to just like dying of fucking like polio and shit like that, and we need to go back to fucking monkey instead of like this dumbass shit that we're going through right now where it's like, I speak 4 languages and I'm a law student and I think that rape is okay because it's natural. And it's just like, holy shit. Wow, you're the actual living meme. The psychopathic law student, the lawyer, the psychopath lawyer who thinks rape is cool and defends rapists. Wow, what a fucking meme. I actually am living in a world where I am able to openly discuss rape with a fucking psychopathic lawyer and a group chat and have a bunch of fucking psychopaths watch it and be like, yeah, you know what? I wish I could rape someone too. You know what? In fact, you think rape's bad. You know what? Maybe you're the rapist for thinking rape's bad. You know, me, I just think everything how goes. You know, there's no such thing as bad or good. So you're the rapist, not me, even though I think rape's okay. Yeah, you know, fuck all these people. I actually hate the world. They just jerk each other off just so they can feel good about their egos for not caring about anything. And it's just like, wow, if you care about something like veganism, or if you care about something like you care about animal suffering, I think you're a sadist who actually wants animals to suffer. That's why you care about animal suffering so much because you actually like animals suffering. I don't care at all. I'm not a sadist. I don't care about this animal suffering at all. It's just not even part of my mind. I'm not enjoying animal suffering. I don't even think about it. You're just focusing on animal suffering, so that you must be a sadist. You care. You like animal suffering, don't you? Huh? And that's pretty much what he's doing about me with like rape. I'm like, okay, I'm like, rape is the thing that occurs in nature all the time. It's how things reproduce. It's how ducks basically reproduce. They have corkscrew penises, and the females have corkscrew vaginas because they reproduced by fucking raping each other. And I'm just like, if you think nature's so good, how come do you think duck rape is okay? Do you think the way ducks reproduce is okay? Do you think that's acceptable, Mr. Nature Man? And he just comes at me like, oh, if you're so concerned about rape, you must be a rapist yourself. And I'm like, nope. Now, the fucking egghead, the one who now egghead saying that hitting him over the head of a rock would be a hate crime. despite the fact that he's an egghead. So pretty much it's just, spilling his yolk to make the omelet, baby. It's just helping the world. He said I should make an omelet, and I'm calling him an egghead. So I'm like, oh, well, we gotta crack you open, baby. And he says that's a hate crime, and I'm like, really though? Because a couple of minutes ago, you basically just being a nihilist and said there's nothing wrong in the world. Well, since you're here with the rest of us, clearly people hate you too. Um, I actually have quite a bit of friends. So no. With since you're here with the rest of us, clearly people hate you too. No, people don't actually hate me. I just hate other people because everybody's fucking useless, fucking garbage. He basically just causes more pain than anything of value in the fucking world. People are just filth beyond filth, waste beyond waste. It's just suffering producing sacks of flesh that just go around hurting each other for no fucking reason but to get glory for themselves. And for what? For what? What real glory are you really achieving? For who? Whom is this glory? Like, who is actually appreciating you? Like, who is appreciating me? Who is appreciating anyone of really much value? And if they are appreciating them, what are they really appreciating? Are they appreciating you? Do you even really exist? Is there really Brant? Is there really? I'm an identity nihilist, so is there even really a fucking you to admire? Or are they just admiring these senseless little exploitative achievements that you've lied and twisted the image around so it seems glorious? They like a facade. It's not even you. There is no you. And it's not even an achievement that's worthy of praise. People aren't real. All this is bullshit. No. Uh, that's the reason I hate people. It's not because people hate me. No, people like me actually. It's quite unfortunate, but people like me. I just fucking despise people to the very fucking core because everything they. Hmm. Oh, after you, Hobby. Uh, I actually produce value in like a blood-sucking law student. So. What do you want, Colin? Hmm. Fair enough. I miss. Fucker. Shot me for bow. You just take a picture of me? No. Take a picture of yourself? Looked like a picture of me, but fair enough. I don't believe you. Heavy cavalry sword. I think that's a fast. No. What, are you doing like a drug test? Fair enough. Good for you. No. I mean, just look at its expiration date. Ferment it. Ferment it. What does Ephelist mean? Ephelist is life spelled backwards. Basically, just means that there's an inherent issue with the chain of life. Essentially, it's like consumption, reproduction, addiction, and just parasitism. Parasitism meaning like if you're on an island with a bunch of fellow animals that are the same species as you, there's eventually gonna be random mutations, and then you're gonna start tearing each other apart. You're gonna start tearing apart your own species to survive. And that's kind of just what all life is. It's just consuming things to stay alive for no reason, reproducing for no reason, being addicted to this life thing and all the different aspects of life that are necessary for us to survive, programmed into us through evolution, and parasiting off of our fellow man and earthling. So basically, it's just pointing out that life is really, really bad and really not worth the price paid. Uh, There's a large cost essentially to all this stuff. What is our purpose? I don't think there's a cosmic purpose, but as moral agents, our purpose is to reduce suffering and prevent suffering. Um, the two values that all experience can be broken down to are pain and pain avoidance, which people call pleasure. Um, when it comes down to it, we do not have obligations to each other or our future selves to produce pleasure. You're not depriving of anybody by not creating pleasure in the world. But pain is experienced as a bad thing to people, and it is unwanted by all beings in the definition of pain. So I believe our purpose, per se, as moral agents, is to reduce as most suffering we can and prevent as most suffering we can. But there's no cosmic purpose. There's just like the purpose of a moral agent, which is like a being that can experience and understand that experience generates value. That there is like value in experience. Most no other creature besides humans, as far as we know, understands that experience generates value, but or at least can kind of somewhat grasp it in the way they feel the world. But we understand there's a difference between us and a rock. That us breaking a rock in half is it's different than like breaking the bones of a different animals in half or something like that. Like breaking a rock versus breaking an animal is a little bit different. And we can understand that. Well, like a tiger is just going to tear something apart because it's programmed to by evolution. It doesn't really consider the thing it's tearing apart a fellow organism worthy of life. Yeah, me neither, man. I don't enjoy life either, and I did not sign for this shit. I want out. The reason I'm still here is pretty much just solely because I believe it's my obligation to convince people to not have kids and try to convince people to not buy animals from breeders or buy meat products from stores where they bring animals into existence unnecessarily to suffer and then die. So it's just like I'm basically the only reason I'm alive is to try to prevent more suffering, prevent more me's from coming into existence, basically. But that's about it. It's the only reason I'm here because this shit fucking sucks. So I feel you, my oyster, dude. I feel you. I agree with you in reproduction, but I love eating meat. I mean, I love eating meat also, but why do you think, if we don't need to eat meat, which we don't need to, why do you think it would be bad to bring humans into the world unnecessarily, but alright to bring an animal into the world unnecessarily, to be used their entire life while they're exploited, confined, small cages and stuff like that, and then killed, and by not a natural way, but like usually quite brutally. Animals really aren't taken care of very well in the mass meat industry as is. But even if they were treated well, why bring them into existence to begin with if it's unnecessary to do so? What to eat then? Plant-based products. There's various plant proteins, the same way that cows get proteins from grass and various plants that they consume, and we can use modern technology to convert plants into proteins that we can absorb in the form of pills and stuff, or various plant-based products like plant-based meatballs, plant-based burgers. Possible burgers taste awesome. Um, so I mean, there's various plant-based products and vegetables and grains, stuff like that that we can consume. It's not the most tasty thing in the world. I'm not gonna lie to you, but when it comes down to it, you have to kind of just ask, like, is it worth to? Plants are alive too, yeah, but plants don't feel pain. Living things don't. We don't matter just because we're alive. Like bacteria is alive also, but we're gonna wash our hands. Things don't have value because they're alive. They have value because they're sentient and they experience things. Um, a vegetable, someone in a coma doesn't have any value. A bacteria doesn't have any value. Viruses aren't technically alive, but if some people consider them alive, they don't have any value. Basically, if you don't feel pain, if you're not aware of yourself, if you don't have a preference for something, then you don't have any value. If you have a preference, if you have a desire of some sort, that's where value lies, is in like experience. Like if there's nothing for a bacteria to experience something, and there's nothing to be an experience of a plant. Like if you could like stick your mind into the mind of a bat, there's something what it's like to be a bat. But there is nothing what it's like to be bacteria or a plant. Like they don't have a mind or a consciousness. They're just living. No different between there's no really moral difference between them and like different other random automata in the natural world like rocks. Yeah. I'll pull up a video on FLism in a minute here. Once I die in this game, which will happen in like a second. So you're vegetarian or vegan? I'm a vegan slash scrapitarian. I guess you could consider me more. I'm a vegan in terms of like the products I buy, but I'm a scrapitarian because I technically ate fish like a week ago. But that's because I don't think death is bad. I just think birth is bad. Death is simply a transition to a state of non-existence. Just as you don't mourn the fact that you didn't exist in the 1700s, I won't mourn the fact that I won't exist in 2200. Like the fact that I'm not going to exist in the future doesn't really bother me at all, and it shouldn't bother me. It's just transition to non-existence. So death doesn't bother me. I have no problems with animals dying. I have problems with the unnecessary suffering that is involved in the process of being alive. And so therefore I'm not going to buy any animal products from the store because by a supply and demand it'll bring animals into existence. isn't that scary? It is a little scary, but it's I mean, it's just the truth of the world, and I accept I swallow all the hard pills, man. So, yeah, when it comes down to it, yeah, it's just I'm not technically I'm vegan in terms of like how I purchase things. Like if you were to look at like my purchase history, you'd be like, this man's a vegan. But if you look at like what I've eaten in the last week, you'd be like, oh, this man's a pescatarian. Or if someone were to like go hunting and like hunt deer, I would gladly eat the deer meat. There's not the deer is gonna die no matter what in the wild. It's probably gonna die from wolves or disease or the elements, which is far, far worse than a bullet going through its head. So I would much rather that deer would much rather probably die from a bullet going through its body and dying from shock almost instantaneously than dying very slowly from the elements if you could like give the deer an option. So when it comes down to it, yeah, it's like why would I be upset about like eating harvested meat from the wild? Because those animals would have existed without human intervention, but their suffering would have only been ended earlier by human intervention. So it's a good thing. So I'm pro hunting, which a lot of vegans are not pro hunting, but I am not pro agriculture. So that's where I align with veganism, is I'm not pro farming. Well, I'm pro farming, just not pro farming of animals. I'm pro farming of like crops. I'm not like some natural hippies, like, let's just like take things from nature. No, I'm cool farming. I'm just not cool farming animals. Interesting. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, let's close this out. And let's bring this. What's the top right picture of? That's just my profile picture on YouTube. Basically, I'm running on SteamYard right now, so basically I can put up a little brand thing. They have like the natural little SteamYard logo that sits in the top right corner, but I can basically put my own custom logo there if I want to, and I just have my YouTube profile picture, which is the same name. It's just antisocial with a dash in between. Here, if you're looking on my screen, you should be able to see this if I go like, yeah, antisocial left list, yeah, branch. So yeah, if you don't need to type in the brand part, but if you go on YouTube and type in antisocial left list, like this on the screen right there, you can see my YouTube account, which I post videos on there, and I'm also live streaming on there right now. Looks like a skull. It is a skull. Yeah, it's like a really psychedelic skull. It kind of looks like those Mexican Day of the Dead type of like things, but like more psychedelic like looking. It's like a very psychedelic skull. It kind of reminds me of like Day of the Dead, and I thought it looked cool. So I was like, it's an AI art generation, so it's a one of a kind image. It only exists once. So that's what I like about AI. You can generate your own custom things for your profile. It looks neat. We're gonna watch one quick video, and then I have to dip out because D&D starts in a bit here. But yeah, we're gonna watch one final little video, close out the stream on a not very positive note, but real realistic note. Just to give you kind of an idea of what ethylism is, and
So this one's about ephilism, how it's often viewed as just, this completely hostile and antagonistic product of a depressed mind. It's just too negative to be believed, I guess, is how it's often viewed. A real just ethical analysis that you do in your head that makes total sense. I think holding an ethylist viewpoint is totally compatible with having like a happy and
actually no, we're gonna
fulfilled.
watch Cosmic Ephesus video. Oh shit, that's like 15 minutes long. We're not gonna watch Cosmic Ephesus video. We're
So
watching
this
the other
one's about ephilism,
one.
how it's a completely hostile and antagonistic product of a
I
depressed
don't have
mind.
15 minutes. I
Just
only have 5 minutes.
too negative to be believed, I guess, is how it's often viewed. A real just ethical analysis that you do in your head that makes total sense. I think holding an ethicist viewpoint is totally compatible with having like a happy and fulfilled life for the individual. You can still enjoy your music, enjoy your art, even though you recognize that life is just this replicating molecule, that it really doesn't have any innate meaning, that your subjective experience is just that subjective experience. You still feel it, you still have needs, and it's not reasonable to just expect people to just kill themselves. Just realize that life is just a silly broken game and just kill themselves. Now, obviously, sex and all this is a part of nature. I mean, it's none of this is what's being disputed here. It's just this one ethical question, procreation. This thing that a lot of people view as beautiful and a miracle, and it's just a simple ethical analysis. Children who don't yet exist are not being deprived of anything. They're not suffering. They're not in need. They have no need. And when you bring them into existence, now they're this physical thing that is decidedly a need machine. It needs, I mean, it's really a simple ethical analysis. It's not just something some angry guy made up, to try to inflict guilt on you for your nature. It's just something that did happen naturally. This replicating molecule, after billions of years, it evolved like this. And now we have these drives and whatnot, this mechanism that causes it to perpetuate. But I mean, we can use intellect to see that ethically it's really not good if you really think about it deeply. If you're going to be honest with yourself about it, not just indulge in pleasant fantasies, and that we have the tools, we have the ability to not do it, that we can prevent it. Life has already been imposed upon you. You're here, and it kill yourself or to just be miserable for no reason. I mean, of course, to a reasonable extent, but I mean, indulging in music and art and having your nice little ideas, philosophies, that's all fine. It's just when it leads to actions and decisions, that inflict inevitable suffering and, these unnecessary impositions on more life. That's really the only place where there's any qualm with how you want to do what you will with your own existence. Just stop imposing it on more people. Not everyone sees it the same way you do. And there's really no point for all the suffering because there's no end goal. You getting to experience parenthood and this and that, feel something is dependent on you, right? And it's cute and you love it and it loves you. I mean, it's all happy and fun, but I mean, this desire to continue your family bloodline or whatever, it's just a temporal desire. It's just a mechanism to get you to reproduce. Whenever you die, that desire will be gone, but the life that you impose still remains. That life doesn't see through it and it continues to perpetuate, and for no good reason. I mean, we can see that this is a rigged, broken game. There's no end goal. It's not going anywhere. Just rationally. It doesn't have to be. I mean, we just make a rational analysis, just like we would with anything else in our lives. And of course, being a hard determinist, you do have to concede that all ideas and all viewpoints and every action is a product of the physical brain. There's no freedom. There's no I mean, the people who are disagreeing here, I mean, it's a mechanism in their brain. That's dissonance. They get this idea and it doesn't fit well with their idea of existence and value. They don't like it, and they just deny it. Obviously, the implications of ephilism are a little depressing. I mean, you realize that that the value that we place on life doesn't precede the life. It's life evolved and developed over time, and most humans that live now, have some sort of conception of value in it. But I mean, it's not inherent. There was no value before the sentient. This argument being laid out, this why create a need machine? I mean, can you justify that? Why is it good, and why would it not be better to not do it? Since life entails inevitable suffering, at least at some points, even though it's more limited for some people than others. There is a lot of agony to be experienced, and that is experienced every day in the world, and there's no real good reason for it, and we have the ability to stop it.
We have the power to stop it, y'all. We got the power to stop it. We just need to get out there in the street and do shit, you know? That's the whole thing, is getting out there and doing the activism that needs to be done to convince people not to reproduce. Who founded Nephilism? There's not really an official founder. Like, the idea of reproduction being a bad thing has kind of existed for a few thousand years. Antinatalism existed for a few thousand years. Ephilism's kind of the word ephilism is founded by Gary Mauscher. If you look up the channel Emendum, um, here I can show you his channel really quickly before I go and hop on Discord. Um, share Emendum. Come on, search bar. Emend. IMM and then end and then ham. And then so in men deham. In men deham. So yeah, if you go on to this channel, he's kind of the original founder of Ephilism, per se. But I wouldn't necessarily say like, you have to like listen to Gary to get points in Ephilism. He has a lot of really good points. I agree with most of the things, if not pretty much everything Gary says. But you pretty much all you need to do is just understand that like experience generates value. There's difference between us and like rocks and things that don't have minds. That is or isn't something to be like them to be experienced. There's a difference between like us and bacteria and us and um, like say a worm. And basically the difference is like the different variants and how much pain we can feel. Like a rock doesn't feel any pain. A worm might feel some discomfort, which is bad, and a human might feel complete torture and suffering and emotional and physical level, which is horrible. So basically, all we need to know is essentially for ephilism is experience is a real thing that generates value. There is value in being able to experience things, and that those values basically break down to pleasure and pain, and that the real positive value there that really has to be taken into account is pain and how much worth it has in avoiding it. And that we have to really just kind of measure up the quantities of these things and really ask ourselves, like, is it worth to inflict suffering both on our future selves, but more importantly upon other sentient beings, man and animal, just for us to continue on this, senseless game, essentially, just living to live. So yeah, it's kind of what Ephilism's all about. It's not saying like it's not like necessarily pro suicide or anything like that. It's more just like trying to get people to be aware that life is a bad thing and not worth perpetuating, and that we do have obligations to prevent suffering rather than bring pleasure into existence. So, um, yeah, that's the main focal points of Ephilism. But, like feel free to ask me more questions. I'll be live streaming again later tonight in like 4 or 5 hours. But I'm playing D&D with the boys, so I gotta exit the stream. So ciao, y'all. Take care. Keep it real. All that stuff. Subscribe if you feel like subscribing, or don't. But yeah, take care.